All right, today's gospel reading will be from Matthew chapter 4, verse 25, and then also chapter 5, verses 1 through 12. So we'll be getting to the Beatitudes on the Sermon on the Mount. As always, I'll be doing an explanation according to the Blessed Theophylact, who was an archbishop from the Ohrid region of Bulgaria from the 11th century. All right, chapter 4, verse 25, and then chapter 5, verse 1. And there followed him great multitudes of people from Galilee and from Decapolis and from Jerusalem and from Judea and from beyond the Jordan. And seeing the multitudes, he went up onto the mountain. And when he had sat down, his disciples came to him. The explanation: he teaches us not to do anything ostentatiously. For when he is about to teach, he goes up onto the mountain, thus instructing us also when we would teach to depart from the bustle of the city. The multitude comes for the miracles, but the disciples come for the teachings. So when he has finished the miracles and healed their bodies, then he heals their souls as well, that we may learn that he is the creator of both souls and bodies. And verse 2, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, an explanation: why does the evangelist say he opened his mouth? It would appear that this is superfluous, but it is not, for he also taught without opening his mouth. How did he do this? By his life and his miracles. But now he opens his mouth and teaches, and he taught them, not only his disciples, but the multitude as well. He begins with the Beatitudes, blessed are they, just as David began the Psalms with the Beatitude, blessed is the man, in Psalm 1, verse 1. And verse 3, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. An explanation: first, he lays down humility as a foundation. Since Adam fell through pride, Christ raises us up by humility. For Adam had aspired to become God. The poor in spirit are those whose pride is crushed and who are contrite in soul. Verse 4, blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. The explanation: blessed are they that mourn for their sins, not for things of this life. Christ said, they that mourn, that is, they that are mourning incessantly, and not just one time, and not only for our own sins, but for those of our neighbor as well. They shall be comforted both in this life, for he who mourns for his sin rejoices spiritually, and even more so in the next life. Verse 5, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Explanation: some say that the earth is the spiritual earth, that is heaven, but understand it to mean this earth as well. Since the meek are thought to be those who are despised and deprived of wealth, Christ says that it is the meek rather who possess everything. The meek are not those who never get angry at all, for such people are unfeeling and apathetic. Rather, the meek are those who possess the capacity for anger, but control it, and become angry only when it is necessary. In verse 6, blessed are they who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. The explanation: since he is about to speak about almsgiving, he first shows that one must pursue righteousness, and not give alms from what has been acquired by theft and extortion. And one must avidly practice righteousness, for this is what it means to hunger and thirst. Since it is the greedy who are thought to be well off and satisfied, Jesus says that it is rather the righteous who shall be filled, even here in this life, for that what is theirs they possess with surety. Verse 7, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Explanation: not only with money does one show mercy in almsgiving. The Greek word for almsgiving has the literal meaning of mercifulness. To show mercy and to give alms are two different human attributes in English. In Greek, they are expressed by the same verb, elein, and however that's pronounced. So not only with money does one show mercy in almsgiving, but also with words. And should you have nothing at all to give, show mercy with tears of compassion. They shall obtain mercy, even here in this life, from men. For if he who showed mercy yesterday should be in want today, he will obtain mercy from all. And in the next life, how much more shall he obtain mercy from God? Verse 8, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. The explanation: There are many who are not rapacious and greedy, but are generous in almsgiving. Yet they fornicate and commit other uncleanness. Christ commands, therefore, that along with the other virtues we should also be pure, that is, chaste and temperate, not only in the body but in the heart as well. Without holiness, namely chastity, no one will see the Lord. Just as a mirror will reflect images only if it is clean, so also will only a pure soul admits the vision of God and the understanding of the Scriptures. In verse 9, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. The explanation: the peacemakers are not only those who are themselves peaceable with all, but also those who reconcile others who are at odds. The peacemakers are also those who, by their teaching, convert the enemies of God, just as the only begotten Son reconciled us to God when we were his enemies. So too are the peacemakers, sons of God. And verse 10, blessed are they that are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. It is not only the martyrs who are persecuted. Many others are persecuted as well, for helping those who have been wronged, and simply for every virtue in which they possess. For righteousness means every virtue. Thieves and murderers are also persecuted, but they are not blessed. Verse 11, blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. The explanation: he addresses the apostles directly, showing that it is especially the mark of a teacher to be reviled. It is not simply that he is reviled who is blessed, but when he is reviled for Christ's sake, and falsely. If these two conditions are lacking, he is a wretch, as he has been a cause of temptation to many. And in verse 12, rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they that the prophets which were before you. And the explanation here: of the others whom he has said are blessed, he does not speak of a great reward, but here he does, to show that to patiently endure reviling is a great and most difficult thing, so difficult that there have been many who have been even hanged themselves to escape this trial. Who have even hanged themselves to escape this trial. Even Job, who patiently endured his other trials, was troubled when his friends reviled him by saying that he was suffering for his sins. So that the apostles would not think that they would be persecuted for teaching something contrary to God, he exhorts them by saying, even the prophets before you were persecuted for the sake of virtue, and so you have the example of their sufferings to give you courage.